Okay. We have reached the 20 persons, so I think that we can start the meeting. Thank you for coming. This is the bi-monthly meeting of the network of the eco-environmental and green eco club in the world. Maybe we can start the meeting. So this meeting will be focused on a presentation from Susan, but before we start, maybe we can introduce ourselves so that everyone knows who is present in the meeting. So I start with myself. I am Luca Marchesi from the Rotary Eco Club in Milano, Italy. And in this period, I am the coordinator of this network. Alderico.
Hi everyone, Alderico Caviglia, Rotary Eco Club Milano. I am also chief of ESRAG Italian chapter, and from next year also chief of International District Committee of 2041 District Metropolitan of Milan, Italy. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderico. Susan?
I'm Susan Pagini. I'm currently a member of the Rotary Club of Blackstone Valley in central Massachusetts, USA. And I'm also the current chair of the District 7910 Environmental Action Group.
Thank you, Susan. Ludwig?
Thank you. I'm in the board of ESRAG International, and I'm a DGE and will travel to Singapore to present the initiative from all of us, every club climate friendly and become sustainable.
Thank you, Ludwig. Mustafa? Mustafa Nouri.
Did you say?
Hello, everybody. This is our pleasure to be with you. We are in the new Eco Club in Egypt. I am a past president of Club Sodic West, and we have a very good experience in our new and old clubs. So we are very honored to be with you, and we will be continue with you to enjoy your company. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Elliot.
Good day, everybody. I'm Elliot Rittenberg. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Westborough, Massachusetts, and I currently serve as district governor for District 7910 and have been working with Susan and Andy, who you'll meet shortly, on the project they're going to talk about for quite some time now. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. We have Lucien. Sorry, I didn't spot you before.
Yes. No, it's Lucien. I'm from France. I haven't established yet the club. I'm president of a small club called Biot Templier in south of France. And I'm wishing to build an eco club on the 1st of July, once I'm going to be free of my president charges. So that's in the good way.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome to this meeting. Joyce.
Hi, I'm Joyce Graff. I'm the DGE for 7910 to follow Elliot, and have been watching from the sidelines of all the good work that Sue and Elliot have been doing here. Also, I'm eager to see this program. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Michael Weaver.
Hi, I'm with the Pile Knob Rotary Club here in Denton, Texas. Pardon me, District 5790. And we are not an eco club, but we do environmental projects. We just finished lithium-ion battery recycling project. We've done 3 pollinator gardens. I'm the incoming co-chair of our district environmental group. And I wanted to plug my book just briefly. I've written something called Gas versus Electric Cars, What's in Your Future? 43 pages on Amazon. I'll stick, if you search for my name on Amazon, Mike Weaver, just put it in the search box, the book will come up. Trying to get it in as many hands as possible, just trying to help people make decisions for electrics and going that way. Thank you for listening to that plug.
Thanks to you. Tim Connors.
So I'm from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, Eden Prairie AM Club, Rotary Club, District 5950. I serve by leading the website team. I'm co-chair of the Renewable Energy Task Force, and I serve on the SREG board.
Shannon.
I'm Shannon Wilkinson. I'm with the Hilton Head Rotary Club on Hilton Head, South Carolina. We are a new niche group called Low Country Environmental, and our first initiative is an educational and fundraising campaign to eradicate the use of plastic bottles here. We have about 3 to 4 million plastic bottles a year discarded here. I can't stay for the full meeting, but going forward, a representative of ours will always be participating. Thank you.
Vittorio.
Hello, hi everyone. I am Vittorio Fumagalli. I'm the third one from Rotary Club Eco Milano during this meeting. I will be the next president of this club. Thank you to you all.
Chris.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us. Feeling honored in the presence of such ambassadors for the environment. I'm a member currently of the Freeport Merrick Rotary in Long Island, New York, soon to be chartering an eco club here in District 7255. I'm a past member of the Solana Beach Eco Rotary Club in District 5340 in California. And I was inspired there by ESRAG and my prior eco club through the pandemic to come back to the East Coast and start a club here in New York. I've got the full support of my district governor and my district, including my current Rotary Club, as well as environmentalists in the community who were banding together with me to charter a new club when we hit 20 members.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. In the meantime, I was chatting with a guy that is some problem with entering the meeting. Andy Willinger. You are muted. Sorry, we can't hear you.
And I'm the tech guy, and I forgot to unmute myself. Okay, I'm Andy Willinger from the Rotary Club of Newton, Massachusetts, in the USA, District 7910, and I'm part of the Rotary Climate Action Team that we created here with Sue.
Okay, thank you. Doug.
Hi, everyone. Doug White from the Rotary Club of St. Thomas East Eco in St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Eastern Caribbean, District 7020, one of the first 10 eco clubs chartered by RI. I'm also the SRAG Task Force Coordinator for SRAG 7 task forces.
Thank you. Mohamed.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mohamed Delawar. I am a member of the Eco Club of Egypt, and I'm very happy to be with such exclusive group. I am a PDG since 0203, so it's 21 years ago. And I've been a member of the Rotary International Delegate to the COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh and COP28 in Dubai, and member of the ASRAC.
Thank you very much, and we are very happy to have you here. Kim.
Grazie mille, Luca and Ulrico. I just returned from Italy, and I was delighted to see all the waste diversion efforts there in the 3 cities that I visited. I can tell you more later offline, but I helped found the first Rotary Eco Club of Canada. So we are just north of Seattle. We live on an island, so we're also concerned with waste management. And our club is known for community cleanups and planting for pollinators and helping foster collaborations between all the other community groups. So I look forward to learning more from all of you. Thank you. Grazie mille.
Thank you. Now the picture is changing on my screen, so I hope that I don't forget anyone. Jill.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jill Baum, and here in Minnesota with the Duluth Superior Eco Rotary Club. I am also a District 5580 Environment Chair. We just had a very successful conference with a major environmental and mental health theme. So everyone got a reusable mug. And if you brought it to happy hour, you got free beer, which is pretty awesome.
Okay, things are changing again. Rana.
Hi, I'm Ron Facenda. I'm a member.
Hello.
Yeah, well, one at a time. Sorry. Okay. Reina, please.
Whose turn is it? Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. It's great to be with you all. My name is Rana Hindi, and I'm the president of Rotary Club Lebanon ECHO. And we have been chartered last year in on January 6th. And we had our first year. We are focusing on raising awareness about several environmental topics, including the Miyawaki technique. We had a very big conference. It was a global conference with speakers from Japan and the United States. We had a debate on climate change with the Rotarians from all over the world. And we also worked on permaculture. And we had a session last week about raising awareness in hotels and guest houses to become more green. And we are going to do something about rescued food and reducing food waste in June. And we're looking forward to having more international projects with everyone in the world, because we believe in connecting people together as Rotaries, and to do more projects, because every single project can make a difference. Thank you all.
Thank you. Ron, your turn now.
Hi, I'm Ron Facenda. I'm a member of the Arcan team and Susan's husband, actually. So glad to be here.
Thank you. And I think he's Niven, if I pronounce it correctly.
Yes, correctly. This is Niveen Sakr. I used to work, I'm in the Eco Club Egypt with John Matran and Mr. Mohamed Delawar. I used to lead the implementation of the Sustainable Industrial Areas Guidelines, which was the project led by the World Bank, GIZ, and UNIDO.
Quite interesting.
And it's very, very nice to meet you all today.
Thank you. Joyce Graff.
I think she already went. She already spoke.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Mergi Castellano.
Yes,
Good morning. My name is Margie Castellano. I'm a new member of the Solana Beach Eco Rotary Club here in California, United States. And actually, we are having our first Rotary Environmental Solutions Summit this coming Sunday, May 19, and I'll put the link on the chat if just maybe somebody happened to be in the neighborhood. So I'd like to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Jan, you already said something in the beginning. If you wanted to add something.
Thank you, Lucas. I'm really very honored to be with you. I am Jean Motran. I am the president of the first Eco Club in Egypt. It's called Sheikh Zayed Eco. It was chartered 20 days ago. So we're almost new in Eco Club, and I'm really honored to be among you all. And I would love that we start to do some joint projects together. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Okay, I think that we have I have introduced everyone. So Susan, it's if you can start your presentation, introducing your project.
Thank you. First of all, thanks to everyone for having us here. As I said before, I'm Susan Beginny. I'm a member of the Rotary Climate Action Now team, some of whom are on this call. I won't go back to that. So this is the Rotary Climate Action Now project is basically an educational project. It started when Andy Willinger, who's on this call, bumped into a woman who was part of a team that made 5 really fabulous films about climate feedback loops. And they started talking about how Rotary could use those films to help inspire people to take action on the climate crisis. And that's how RCAN, Rotary Climate Action Now, was basically born. And our goals are pretty clear, pretty straightforward. We want to reinforce the urgency of the crisis, raise the priority of it. It's time to get off the couch. It's really time to get things done. And we're trying to help clubs understand it and be inspired to help their communities get off the couch and get things done. And also part of our project is we provided some tools to get people going, get clubs and people going. I'm not going to go into the details. We all know the climate is changing, et cetera. This group doesn't need to be educated about that. There's lots of talk about things that individuals are doing, and this is all extremely great stuff, especially eating less meat and driving electric cars. But these types of things individually are not going to move the needle. They're not going to really solve the problem. And our goal is to effect large, impactful action. So we're Rotarians. We know that group action works, right? And anything from joining organizations, Rotary clubs or individuals working together with like-minded organizations to take large, impactful action, getting business and industry on board because they have a huge influence in this area. And equally and possibly the most important thing is voting for candidates or initiatives that want to fight climate action. Now, I know a lot of Rotarians, especially here in the US, get a little itchy when we start talking about something that these perceive as political. I just want to make it clear that, first of all, Rotary encourages Rotarians to become active in their communities, in what's happening in their community. And this is happening in everybody's community. And there are also, no matter what your political perspective, there are people where you are that want to take action on this. It's not a left thing or a right thing or a center thing. It is everybody. Excuse me. So, so we are really pushing for group action. And again, as Rotarians, how do we know that group action works? We've changed the world, and we can do it again. I believe we can do it again. So aside from the things, joining other groups, voting and things like that, what could any Rotary Club do to help fight the climate crisis? And that's what we're trying to do, is provide any club anywhere in the world eventually with the tools to do that. the path that we are advocating is for them to hold what we call an Arcan event or an Arcan film event. Way ahead of myself here, sorry. So what would an event be? It actually is something similar to this. When I do this presentation to a club of members who are not really on top of the climate crisis, don't really understand what caused it, what's happening, how important it is, we make a presentation very similar to this, but it's a little more robust. We show one or more of the climate feedback loops. So one of these films that I spoke about earlier, I'm going to give you a little more information on, to help them and motivate them to get off the couch, because these films are really wonderful. They're a little terrifying in some way, but they also end with a message of hope. And we're kind of banking on that message of hope. At a presentation, you would talk about the Arcan toolkit, which I'm going to explain in just a minute, and then facilitate a discussion to get your club. And then if you present this event in the community, which is what we want you to do, get your community to take action in a way that works for them and is important to them. And we created some tools to help you and your community get going with this. So the films that I mentioned, there are actually 5 films. They're all narrated by the American actor Richard Gere. One, they focus on forest, mostly deforestation and wildfires, albedo, which is the melting sea ice, permafrost, and the atmosphere, and how these areas are experiencing feedback, things that are happening that are making the climate get warmer, which causes more warming, which makes the forest drier, so they're more susceptible to fire. Or the sea ice is melting, which makes the oceans warmer, which makes the world warmer, which makes the sea ice melt more. So those are the feedback loops. If I were presenting this to a club or to a community, I would show one of the films, usually the introduction. Each of the films is from like 10 to 15 minutes long. They're very short, very high quality, very impactful. The people who made these formerly worked on a series called Nova, which was a very, it's continuing, but it's a very internationally acclaimed series of science films. So it's the same team worked on those films, worked on these films. And depending on where one might be making the presentation, I would choose which film would be more appropriate. For example, if I was in the Pacific Northwest, I might choose the forest films because it talks about wildfires and what's happening with them. If I was in a northern climate, maybe permafrost is more of an issue. Or if I was in the Midwest United States or somewhere else where it's becoming very dry, lots of drought, or where there's suddenly massive floods, the atmosphere one might be more appropriate for that audience. So the idea is that you can massage the presentation based on your audience. So these 4 films are available online, and I will put the link in the chat right after I'm done. They are free. They are not copyrighted, so you may use them or look at them or use them as you wish. And I love these films, but these are not the only films on the planet that can help with this cause. If you happen to like a different film that you think is more impactful for your community or your club, go ahead and use it. The idea is to, I think the audiovisual component is really nice to help people understand and get going rather than listening to a talking head. So pick the film that works for you and your community. That's really, we're not married to these films. We think they're great, but do what works for you. I just want to point out when these films were first premiered, I think 3 years ago, the premiere was hosted by the Dalai Lama and Greta Thunberg, and they were shown at COPs 26, I think. I can't remember exactly which one. So they're well known around the world, and they've been very well received. And as I said, they're just extremely impactful. So I'm not going to show my slide. My slides are not advancing. Sorry. So I'm not going to show one now. So please feel free to look at one or all of them at your leisure. So how to get started with what we're calling the Rotary Climate Action Now project. I would say do a presentation, show the films, and then we talk about a toolkit. And we created this toolkit because we understand that for some people, and many people, was for me, in fact, it's difficult to get going. I knew I wanted to take some action, but I didn't know how. And when I Googled, how do I take climate action? I was overwhelmed with information, and it was really hard to figure out where to go. So our team created the toolkit, which is a curated set of resources to help your club, and hopefully when you do this in the community, your community to get started. Right now it's in the Google Drive, it's in draft form, so it's not very attractive. We're in the middle of porting it over to a nicer looking website. It's a living, breathing thing. We add materials to it all the time. I'm going to show you some of it in just a minute. So we add things all the time. If you have something that you think should be part of our toolkit, please send it along. We want your resources. We want your brain. We want your perspective, because all of us are in the United States and we want to make this more international, which I actually wanted to mention that earlier. Right now, it is very US focused. Our goal is to make it more internationally friendly. If you would, we're always looking for help. If somebody would like to help us with that task, because all of our members on our team are US based, we would love to have some different perspectives on this. So I'll put the link to the toolkit there in a little bit. This is basically a summary of what's there. And again, the idea is to create materials so that a club and a community can get started. So say you do a presentation in your community and you have a group of people at one table are sitting together and they say, oh my gosh, we need to do something and we need to do it now. We all belong to the same church. So perhaps you might want to go to the environmental organizations and look at the ones that are faith-based. Or it's a group of women. We want to work together as women. How do we do that? Maybe Mothers Out Front is the right group for them, and they're in the list of environmental organizations. There's a bunch of them. So please, I'll put the link. I can't do it right now, but I'll put the link in at the end of or maybe Andy or Elliot could put the links in for me at the end of the presentation. There are project resources, just ideas. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop this right now, and I'm going to share.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat now.
Yeah, I have it up here actually. So this is what our ugly toolkit currently looks like. Can you see the toolkit? Is it up?
Yep.
Again? Okay. So where was I? So organizations, like I said, it's not very attractive. We're working on it. Of course, SRAG is #1 in our book. Citizens Climate Lobby, lots of other things, organizations. We try and put our Rotary friends first. Citizens Climate Lobby is actually really interesting when it was started by a Rotarian when Rotary wasn't doing enough. He decided to, I have to move my little screen here. He decided to create a new organization. So that's the organizations list. Green businesses, say you want to just buy from green things, charities you may want to donate to, et cetera, et cetera. There's the religious and spiritually based organizations. There's a surprising amount of them. The resources on films and videos. Of course, the climate feedback loop films are at the top, but there are plenty of other films that might be of interest to you or your club or your community. Let's see. Project ideas. And this is kind of all over the place, but again, what we first do is send people to organizations that have a really robust list of projects, like SRAG and the Climate Action Team in those places. Just kind of general ideas to get people going. So hopefully you get the idea on that. I'm gonna go back to my presentation now, if that's okay, if I can find it. Nope, that's the chat. Sorry. So there's a little thing about climate success stories, because sometimes you just want to know that it works, right? And I also want to point out this one down below, Catherine Hayhoe. I'm not sure if others are familiar with her. I kind of insisted that a section on her be put in there because mostly in the United States, climate action has become politicized. And we're trying to de-emphasize that because it's everybody's issue. Catherine Hayhoe is one of the leading climate activists in the United States. She also happens to be an evangelical Christian and a Republican, which is a category of person that is typically known to be anti-climate action. So she is a thought leader on this, and I think she's a good representation. That make no assumptions about what somebody's political position is and how that relates to their position on climate action. I think there are lots of people who are concerned. Let's get this to move again. So, as I said, you know, these are our three goals. We believe people want to take action. We want to help them get there. And we're hoping that clubs around the world will help us do that. And the beauty, and I think the nice thing about this project is that it's a pretty easy lift for a club to do a presentation in their community. It's really about publicity about the presentation, and then having someone who is familiar enough with the content to present. It can be done remotely, as you can see. I think live is better because I think the discussion afterwards, especially at a community event, is the important part. So you would want to have someone there who is comfortable facilitating those kinds of discussions. And as I said, you know, we want to provide the tools, and at an event, you would help your attendees maybe direct them towards what might work for them. You know, an example I typically use is I am not a person who will ever go on a march in Washington. It will not happen. I don't like groups, but I am comfortable speaking in front of people. There are people who would never in a million years do a presentation like this, but they're comfortable making phone calls, or they're comfortable, you know, educating their community members about the action, or they're comfortable working with groups of people to advocate for sane climate policy. So we want to meet people where they are and give them the tools to take that step and get them, you know, motivated to do it. Now, this is the most important thing, in my opinion, and many of our team members' opinion, that, you know, voting, government action is really critical. So we have to support the leaders and the legislation and the actions that will fight climate change. Big action. It's a big problem. It needs big action. So I know that's very uncomfortable for some Rotarians, but again, remember that we're all in this together. But we also want you to do a Rotary Climate Action event, because we feel like that's the first step. The project team, most of us which are here, we're very committed to helping you do this. We will help you however you want. We can tailor a presentation to your club. In fact, I tailored this one for this presentation. You know, we're there to help you. We're developing some tools. It's still under construction, some tools. If a club chooses to do a community event, we want to provide you with tools that will help make that a little easier. Public relations tools, visual content, a slideshow and a script that you can use or modify as you wish, access to the films. Pretty much, you know, we'll do whatever we can to help you. And that's really our project. And if anybody has any questions about it, I am more than happy to answer them. It's kind of us in a nutshell. I really do urge you to go watch at least the introductory film on the of the climate feedback loops. They're really fabulous films, and they're a little older, they're a little dated, but nothing has changed. In fact, we all know it's only gotten a little bit worse. So, Luca, do you want to call in people, or should I do it? Questions?
We can do it as we want. Also, Lucien has raised his hand.
All right, Lucien?
Yes, thank you, Susan, and that's great for the short film. I just want to share an experience I made. I had a small group of people here in south of France, and we made a projection with a diving person, an apneist, a French, Julie Gauthier, who made a short film, which I put on the conversation there. The same principle. It's to broadcast that in schools, theater, very simple to use. It's free of right. You can use whatever, whenever. So I shared the Google Drive.
Great.
There's no language barrier as well. So my next question is related to that. How can we, in France, for example, or in other country for non-English speakers, you know, have a more impact? Is it subtitled, or do you need, for example, somebody here in France to translate?
My apologies. I forgot to mention that the films are already subtitled in something like 23 or 24 languages.
All right.
And if you go to the link, the link takes you to the website for the films, and they have the subtitle options there. They also have a series of curriculum available to be used in the schools. They're focused for children and young adults. We're trying to use the films to get to adults. But
Okay.
good question. I should have covered that. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. That's great. And we've got also a beach projection in June. And I put onto the conversation as well that the short film festival here in France, starting at the end of the month, about ecological short films.
Yeah.
And mainly European films, Italian, Romanian, Slovak film, but you can, do the same thing in other country like in the US. Short film only about environmental. They don't have any Richard Gere or those great American people, but small impact and yeah, it's made by a producer.
Yeah, we started with these films. We felt they were a great foundation, but if something works better in your community, go for it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the materials are all in English.
No, it's all right. I mean, don't apologize for that. It's just a matter of translate here in France.
Right. We're
and
actually
find a way.
putting together this type of presentation for a club, and we're doing it with a packaged audio rather than having either Andy or I either visit your club or do a Zoom call. And we're using AI for that voice so that it can be more easily translated to other
But
languages.
to finish with that, in high school here in France, we've got bilingual teachers, so English is not a problem at all. So like a business school here in south of France, near Nice, great school, but
Right.
it could be broadcast over there as well.
Great.
Thank you, Susan.
Who was next? Luca, I wasn't really paying attention.
Tim.
Tim?
So just wanted to reinforce your comment about being proactive with people who represent you in government. The math shows that, in fact, the biggest thing we need to do is get legislation passed to do basically carbon pricing. If you're a US citizen, we're the only developed nation in the world that hasn't passed some kind of carbon pricing legislation. So I would highly encourage anybody that hasn't joined CCL to do that. That is the biggest piece of work that can get done. And then I was going to mention, Susan,
I
do you
just want
want
to say CCL is Citizens Climate Lobby. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, and then do you want to leverage the website to get these materials out there?
Oh yeah, we've just rolled this out, so we're just kind of stumbling along our way. So we're trying. That's why I'm here, right? Because we want to help.
Right.
We want to try and get others to know about the project and get input and resources about it, because we're 4 or 5 people. So if you have recommendations.
Yeah, the second part of that is I can't speak to this to the full. I'm not real knowledgeable about this, but the translational issue, we dealt with it in the communications team. So there may be some knowledge and information you could leverage in that regard.
The SRAG team, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The SRAG communications, Lori and.
Yeah, I've been in touch with Lori a couple of times, but not recently. It's certainly not on this. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, and you may want to think too about how we envelop the branding too. We've got a lot of names running around, so it might be important to have kind of a fairly near-term conversation to figure out how it all fits together.
Right.
It's good work, you got to get it out there.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, just to get it out there. Andy and I have an aggressive club visit schedule, and like I said, we've just started by doing clubs in our district, and we did a multi-district conference last weekend, and this we did SRAG a couple of months, maybe a month or so ago.
Yeah, the Wednesday seminar, is that what you did?
Yeah, we did that. Andy did that maybe a month ago, Andy? Thanks.
It
Luca,
starts.
who's? Thanks. Jill?
Jill, yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
Hi, thank you. I have a hard question. Going back to our conference. So it was a split environmental and mental health theme, which was wonderful. And as a environment co-chair, I was asked to do some eco moments. So periodically I would get up and offer a quote and some statistics and something inspirational. But I was told at the beginning, do not mention the words climate change, do not even say sustainability. We can't turn people off. Our district is super varied, from like the ultra tree huggers to the no way, this is not happening and I don't want to hear about it. And I guess my question to you is, I love what you're doing. I would go watch all these movies, but how do we reach the people who wouldn't even consider that? Or where do we start in a way that brings people to the table rather than shoves them to the side? And that's a huge conversation, but I'm just wondering if you have any advice at all.
Yeah, well, Rotary kind of walked that line, didn't they, when they named the new area of focus, supporting the environment. And when I do club visits, I usually say, by the way, that's code for climate change. But it's not really, if you have to kind of meet people where they are, right? So if you you have to know what club you're presenting to, of course. If you know the club is going to be extremely resistant to discussions about climate change, then you just don't do it. You talk about pollinator gardens and work in phrases like, this, or, how this helps the climate. Like you bring them along. I think you have to bring them along slowly. And Elliot, sorry, Elliot is our district governor. And didn't you tell me you had a similar experience about not mentioning climate? Somebody just told me that. But so Elliot, if you or Andy, if you have other recommendations on this, join in. But you can't shove anything down anybody's throat. I don't think it's out of line to make people uncomfortable. I've certainly sat through many Rotary Club of speakers who are showing images of places that horrify me and make me uncomfortable, but that's what spurs us to action, right? So it's delicate. I get that. I'm making a presentation, I think, next week to a club that I would expect to be a little. Actually, I made one last week to a club that I thought was going to be not quite open to it, and I was pleasantly surprised. So my best advice would be to know the club you're going to and present it in a way that you think will be palatable for them.
And I guess I might add that maybe this is where those next generations are so important, because at some level we need the world to move on.
Yeah, and sorry, if say you have a club where two people in the club are really anti climate change, but there are two more, speak to the two that are. Like, so you piss somebody off. Sorry, I'm sorry if you don't like this, but this is a big issue for me.
It also includes my father, and that's also why I'm asking. But thank you for trying to answer.
There's a great book. There's a great book called by Catherine Hayhoe. I think it's Catherine Hayhoe, or it's actually on my slide. How to Talk to People About Climate Change. It's a terrific book. I can't quite remember. It's
Susan, I think that we need to accelerate.
okay. Well, I'm basically done. No, it's all right. But How to Talk to People About Climate Change is a terrific book. Sorry, I'm done.
I would also encourage it within SRAG here in the communications team. We're starting to use the work that Potential Energy put out. They did extensive research in terms of how to talk about the subject. I just put a link to the document that is kind of becoming the central theme for some of the communications at SRAG. Examples: don't use the word climate change, talk about extreme weather. Don't talk about sustainability, talk about safe and healthy living. The point of the document, and everything's situational. You guys described how, it's a little bit about who your audience is, but a lot of the work that Potential Energy has done is literally kind of a message that can fit in most situations, and it doesn't necessarily trigger the political thing or the frustration thing.
Right. Thanks.
I need to add also that you don't have to do this alone.
Yes.
Not only is our team available, but if you're talking to a group of Rotarians and who you think might not be 100% receptive, reach out first to an organization, an environmental or a climate change organization. The bigger, the better. They are dying for Rotary to step up and join them. I've reached out to several, and they were so overjoyed to hear that Rotary was interested in starting to deal with this issue in a big way. They would love us as partners. They know we're considered the good guys. We have an international reputation of being always doing the right thing and being for good, and it will help a lot.
And even if you decide to do a community event, collaborate with other organizations. It's good for our Rotary's image. It's good. It makes positions us well in the North America. Membership is a big issue, so it positions us well in the community. It's good for membership. Although I never want to do a project to attract members. I think that's the wrong way to do it. But there was a club recently we presented to, and they did a community event that they paired with public health. They work with their local public health agent, the state public health organization, and one of their community green organization. And they had 90 people come to see this presentation on a cold, miserable, rainy night in Massachusetts, which is hard to get anybody out on those nights. So they involved other organizations, which I'm sure made it more successful. So they massaged it to fit what they wanted to talk about, which is great. That's exactly what we want. Was, use it as a way to talk to your community.
Okay, thanks, Susan. Chris, you have a question.
I did. Thank you. Following up after Jill's question about introducing the subject to Rotary clubs, but I'm more battling with how to change the minds of politics around my area. The mayor is far from being an environmentalist, and the area where I'm currently performing a project to clean up a nature preserve is owned by a county who also seems to be completely non-interested in what we're doing. Is there a smart way to engage counties and villages and persuade public leaders
Yeah, this is not really my area of expertise because I've been lucky enough to live in areas who have embraced it. I would talk to Citizens Climate Lobby, although or organizations like 350.org in the you're in the United States, right? You must have counties.
Yes, New York.
So yeah.
Long
Oh, okay.
Island.
So 350.org. If there is a local green organization in your town or county, talk to them about it, how to collaborate. Because Andy's right. Rotary has a very persuasive reputation in the United States and elsewhere, I hope. And we're the good guys. So you can leverage that sometimes, but I would say you need to work with other organizations, local organizations, to do it. Find your local chapter of maybe, well, Citizens Climate Lobby, even they have local chapters, and like I said, 350.org, and depending on your area, you may or may not want to talk to some of the more protest-oriented organizations. But look at the organizations list that's in our toolkit and see if anything there resonates with what you're trying to do. Sorry, it's not really my area of expertise.
But don't be afraid to fail.
Right.
We're not gonna bat 1,000, as we say.
As one associate said to me, if you're not getting traction now, just make sure you engage the community in voting for who will give you traction.
Yes, absolutely. And Kim actually put something interesting in the chat. I happen to work for several towns. Most committee meetings in a municipality, they have a period for public comment. Go there and start talking about it. Don't be combative, but just talk about it. Like, I want you to know that today is National Butterfly Day, whatever it is, and start bringing it up. And they typically have it at the beginning of the meetings, and so you can be in and out. You don't have to stay there all night for the whole select board meeting or whatever you have.
That's a very good idea. Thank you.
That was Kim's idea. That was Kim's idea.
And also remember that politicians respond to large numbers of voters working together. So you don't have to talk directly until you have a nice a nice group of support behind you.
Thank you.
Okay.
You know, I
Luca?
just comment, the research shows you only have to have about 10 citizens show up at somebody's place and they'll start paying attention. Obviously, the more the better, but if you can get 10 citizens to walk into an office, it has a huge, huge impact.
Yeah, great.
And I know 10
Luca,
people
who's
who live
next?
on Long Island who would join you.
Great. Send me the share my contact information with them, Andy. I'll put it in the chat.
So Luca, who's next?
It's me.
That's
Because yes, exactly. No, but I don't want to ask a question to you, Susan. I wanted to ask a question to other guests of this meeting, people that have some experience, like Mohammed or Reina. What do you think about the presentation of Susan? Because the presentation is very focused on a certain kind of situation. Would it be useful, Mohammed, for example, in a different country? Or what?
As you have said, truly, it is more focused on a certain community and on a certain culture, which doesn't apply in everywhere in our areas. But the whole concept is creating the awareness. And when we started this club in Egypt, we are really looking forward to create this awareness between Rotarians, and then create the awareness within our community and within our area and cause this impact. And as you have said rightfully, of course, doing projects, we are getting involved in projects like the mangrove restorations, and other things. But influencing politician and the community from this side in underdeveloped countries where it's not that open would not be the same everywhere from my point of view.
right. We did, and we would never expect it to be the same.
I'm sure.
You know, that I would totally hope that things, you know, the idea is to, as you said, try and influence and educate the community, and then let them do what they feel like they need to do. And that will look different no matter where you live, whether you live in Egypt or in Boston or in Paris, right? It's all going to look a little different.
Yeah, but the films are very much interesting, and we will try to spread them within their area. Also, the book of Catherine Hay, I was just checking on the internet now, so this would be very helpful in our area, definitely.
She does a series of TED Talks as well that are very good, Catherine Hayhoe. And the films are not, although they are narrated by an American actor, and the scientists are mostly from the Boston area. I think that's because that's where the filmmakers live. They don't particularly talk about the United States. It's really, they're focused on the world and the climate. So I don't really feel like they have a particularly U.S. focus, just to make that clear. But you know, certainly watch them and decide for yourself. And if they don't work for you, find something else that does. We just happen to think that this kind of film was very impactful and certainly got us moving, right? We spent a lot of time because we saw these films and went, oh my God, we got to do something. You know, that's really what happened.
No, and the actors themselves, Richard Gere and all these people are very well known even in our area, and very well looked for. So definitely when they start doing something like this, it creates this awareness and make people think more of that.
Right.
We're certainly open to including other sections of the toolkit that are more specific to other international areas. We'd love to do that. If you want to just have us point to other toolkits in your country, we could do that too. Right now we just want to collectively raise our voices in support, and the specific movie that you show is not the critical point. The critical point is to focus beyond the individual actions and create group actions supported by Rotary as a worldwide organization.
Totally in agreement, definitely, definitely. And I'm sure we in the incoming time, we will be, if with your help, looking for adding some to these toolkits.
Yes, that would be terrific. We would love that. And I'm actually I'm gonna put my email in the link in the chat. So if you have anything to add or have questions or anything, please, please, please reach out to me and I will share it with Andy and Elliot and Ron and anyone else who's interested. And you know, we really would love to make this more internationally accessible to people. And we need your help to do that.
It would be a pleasure, definitely.
Kim,
Thank you for
sorry,
sharing that.
I hold you for a second because one of the scope of this meeting that I would like to discuss is how to increase the participation of people, because we are 22 in this moment. I think that we were 25. It's only a fraction of the representation of the people that could eventually join. So one of the scope of the idea that I have in mind is how to increase, using this meeting only as a trigger for a much larger discussion that okay, in this moment we don't have anything else. Susan, want to share the email address in order to have a discussion with Mohammed about other things. But there are other tools and other possibilities that are a little bit more interactive, where people can immediately see what you are talking about and contribute online. So this is something that I'm really wishing, I'm looking forward. With Doug, we had a discussion about how to involve Climateers. That is a platform, a community where we can exchange opinion, material, projects, solution, whatever. And okay, it's not yet there. I hope that we can make it live in the near future. Sorry for that, Kim.
Oh, thank you, Luca. We were a delegation recently at our local government board meeting, and it was during Earth Week, so we timed it very well to explain that we had our community cleanup, of course, which was our annual event, but we follow that with an Adopt an Area program so that we can show our local leaders that in our small community, residents volunteer to look after the areas in their neighborhood to keep an eye on things, litter and environmental wise, and then they have a pin on a map. So at our website, we track that coverage and that impact using Google Maps customizable software. And so we can add participants and show how we are growing our impact throughout the region using community volunteers. And I have noticed that government really struggles with public engagement. They really struggle with, like you say, Luca, getting participation, having people even show up to meetings. And so we were able to say, here's our program, it's working, and you can duplicate this, you can grow this throughout the region if you can identify community champions, just one or two in each of your areas that will step up and steer this work. And you can borrow and copy our ideas and have that be a positive influence. So I just want to say it's very important to be working closely with your local government. Thank you.
Susan, you're muted.
Sorry, I was trying to put something in the link at the same time. So you're talking about better communication between getting more Rotarians to participate in this event, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I found that, you know, you can create, you know, websites and chats and all these things, but you kind of have to get right to the people. And this is probably pretty time intensive, but, you know, I would expect that each district puts out some kind of district newsletter and try and get, get one person from each district who participates to get the announcement into their district newsletter each month or each week, whenever it happens. Because if they don't, if a member doesn't know about it, they don't know to go to whatever chat. I used a different word and I can't quite recall what the word is, but they don't know to go to a website or to a special place designed just to publicize this. They don't know about it yet, so they can't look at it. So, kind of, this is kind of a more what we would call a grassroots thing, but try and get into the district websites or the district newsletters, things like that. And that would take each of us to hold that responsibility. And I will certainly step up and do that for my district. If I can convince Joyce to let me do it. I think she's still here somewhere.
Thank Gianna.
Yeah, hi. It was really a very nice presentation. I really loved it. But for your question, Lucas, I think it's the more thing or the most efficient thing that you can attract people to join is by making projects, making it more live. People not all the time get interested to just talking. So my idea is to have more projects, joint projects together. I think this way we will attract more people to join and even to be more interested in eco clubs.
I am open to any suggestion. Just mail me what you think it will work. If you have any idea, for example, we can dedicate the next meeting to project on a specific topic, on a specific argument. Think about it. It can be education, can be recycling, can be reforestation, can be water pollution, whatever you think is a good idea. We put together a few projects around this topic, and we create a bigger conversation around it. And if people want to join the project, they can do it. And we can develop things in the direction that you think it work, and the direction that you want. I am here to help you to facilitate the conversation. We are a network, not an organization or a structure. Keep it in mind.
That's great. So you can use more of your time and of your effort by just asking all people or all clubs that have interesting projects to send it to you. And you can just choose 3 or 4 projects to speak about it next meeting. And everyone who wants to join, they can.
Exactly. If there is someone that helps, it's welcome. But, yeah.
No, you have to do it yourself, Lucas.
It may be unnecessary to say that, but doing projects is certainly what keeps Rotary clubs active and popular. But they're not mutually exclusive with talking to your community and working with other organizations, which is going to further our efforts even more towards a big thing like climate change. They have different goals, and both should be done by a club if you can get them to do it.
Lucienne, we are already 10 minutes past.
Yes, sorry, I just unmute myself. I just sent Luca a link to World Cleanup, which is in September. And I'm sending you another international action we can do, which is a climaton, which is international think tank. We can think and engage a community around the world. And I think it's going to be a good thing for the Eco Club around the world to synchronize on that day, on that World Cleanup Day, because we are the only organization with so many people around the world compared to the local association or climate change group. So I think if you look into that, have you heard about World Cleanup Day?
No.
Well, it's international, and it is a tool we can size. There's not much to be prepared, and we can just show up and say, okay, fine. We with the Rotary, we organize a cleanup somewhere, and benefit from the communication about that World Cleanup Day.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? So thank you very much. There are still 20 persons left in this meeting. We had the patient to stay. Kim, sorry.
Yes, I'm going to put a link in the chat on how to create a custom Google map. And I think this is a really good tool for showing impact throughout a community or a region, especially any aspect of the environment. Even you can highlight parks and other areas that you're doing restoration work on, for example. So I'll pop that link in the chat. This is one of many, but it's the one that I was inspired by. So thank you.
Okay.
One last comment. We find here in the US that more communities and larger entities like states and the equivalent internationally are appointing individuals to head climate efforts. So now there's a point of contact that reaches a government organization, and they need to know that Rotary is interested in helping them. You pointed out that 1.5 million people globally is a powerful ally to have, and I think these people need allies like us. So this is going to be one of the main focus of our efforts as we want to make a bigger impact.
Again, thanks, Tim. Yes, okay. So next time I don't say anything more. I close the meeting. Okay, so I warn you.
Thank you, Luca.
Tim.
Yeah, I was just going to say, add getting people to join SRAG is one way to get Rotary International engaged in climate. And there's a lot of work going on to basically pitch that to Rotary International. But if our roles grow, they can't ignore us. FYI. Sorry, Luca. See you.
Okay.
Hey,
So,
it's Matt Grafton, and
thank you very much. I think that we need to thank Susan for the presentation that triggered
Thank you, Susan.
a discussion that was quite interesting, I must admit, with a different opinion and usually a little bit different from the usual discussions that we have within Rotary.
Great,
So,
thanks. I love making people think differently.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you next time. And if you want to communicate, please do it through me. And if you have idea for the organization of the next meeting, share it.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you again and have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.